In a dimly lit room, Noah kneels, his hands trembling as they clasp around a single candle. The faint light from the flame flickers in the oppressive silence. The air feels heavy, thick with the weight of something unseen. Shadows stretch unnaturally across the walls, twisting and merging. His breath quickens, and his heart races with each passing second. The candle flame dances erratically, as if drawn by an invisible force. A chill runs down his spine as the temperature drops, the air thick with a metallic scent. The floorboards under his knees vibrate, faint at first, but growing in intensity. Suddenly the flame bursts into white, cold fire, filling the room with an unearthly glow. A tall, shifting silhouette appears at the far end of the room, its form gleaming like molten silver. No sound, no wind, just an overwhelming sense of presence. Noah's eyes widen as the voice resonates inside his chest, deep and powerful. "You have been seen." The words linger, vibrating within him, as if they've carved themselves into his very soul. The darkness within him stirs, awakened by this force. Noah's heart pounds in his chest as the room shimmers with the aftershock of the supernatural presence. He feels a cold sweat trickle down his spine, unable to move, unable to breathe. The room seems to pulse with each passing second. His mind races, unsure whether the apparition is real or a product of his imagination. A voice, deep and echoing, fills his mind again. "You are not alone." It lingers, reverberating in the very marrow of his bones. The room seems to close in around him, the air thick with energy, but Noah remains frozen, too overwhelmed to react. The presence is everywhere and nowhere at once, wrapping around him like an unseen force, a whisper of something ancient and eternal. His thoughts are a blur, racing, fighting to make sense of what's happening. But nothing in his life has prepared him for this moment, and every instinct within him screams to flee, yet he cannot. The voice persists, now softer, almost soothing. "You have been seen." The weight of those words settles deeply in his soul, a truth he cannot deny. Noah. Mind races as the echoes of the voice linger in his thoughts. His knees ache, but he refuses to move. The weight of the moment presses down on him, the room feeling both vast and suffocating at once. He can't shake the feeling that something far beyond his understanding is happening. The air is thick, heavy with unspoken knowledge, as if the room itself holds secrets that have been waiting for this moment. As the coldness creeps deeper into his skin, he slowly raises his gaze, meeting the figure's shifting form. Its presence seems to penetrate the very fabric of his soul. The overwhelming sense of being observed, of being seen, pulses in his chest, a constant rhythm that matches his heartbeat. A strange comfort washes over him, mixed with a terror that he can't explain. The figure shifts again, and Noah's breath catches in his throat, as a strange sense of peace begins to settle over him, even as the room trembles with energy. The air thickens, and Noah can feel the pulse of energy intensify with every passing second. His mind races, trying to process what is happening, but it's as if his thoughts can't keep up. The gear moves once more, but this time, its movements are purposeful. It seems to be coming closer, yet Noah cannot move. His body remains locked in place, his mind screaming for him to run, but his spirit is tethered to the moment. The coldness in the room deepens, and Noah feels it seeping into his very bones, his body trembling with a mix of dread and awe. The voice echoes once more, deeper now, "You must understand." It's a command, a beckoning that pulls at him, as though this moment is not just a meeting of the physical and the spiritual, but a calling that Noah has no choice but to heed. The presence envelops him, and his soul seems to be laid bare, unguarded and vulnerable. The gear stands before him now, its presence overwhelming. Noah feels an odd sense of peace washing over him, a peace he cannot explain. His mind quiets, and the racing thoughts slow, as if time itself has frozen. The figure speaks again, its voice resonating through Noah's chest. "You are ready." The words reverberate in his soul, and in that moment Noah feels something shift deep within him. The confusion, the fear, the chaos of his life, All of it seems to dissolve. For the first time in years, he feels a sense of clarity, of purpose. He doesn't understand it, not fully, but something within him has changed. The darkness that has held him captive for so long feels distant now, no longer a threat but a shadow to be cast aside. The room seems to grow brighter, and Noah rises slowly, as if guided by an invisible hand. Noah stands in the center of the room, his heart still racing from the overwhelming experience. His mind is spinning, trying to understand what happened. The figure's presence lingers, as if imprinted on the walls themselves. The air feels charged, heavy with unanswered questions. He searches for meaning in what has just occurred, trying to piece together the puzzle. But everything feels uncertain, as if the ground beneath him is shifting. His breath steadies, but his mind is far from calm. He knows something has changed, but the weight of doubt hangs on his shoulders. Noah cannot deny the truth. The encounter was real, but what does it mean for him? Why has he been chosen? He cannot escape the feeling that this is just the beginning. The walls feel like they are closing in, and the silence presses against him. Deep within, a part of him feels drawn to the unknown, even though fear still clings to him like a shadow. His next steps seem unclear, yet he knows he cannot go back to who he was before. Noah finds himself walking aimlessly through the night, the weight of his thoughts dragging him down. The cool air brushes against his face, but it does little to clear his mind. He is lost, not physically, but spiritually. His past is a jumble of memories, mistakes, and moments that no longer make sense. Each step feels heavier than the last, and a deep sense of uncertainty clouds his every move. The city is quiet, the streets empty, save for the occasional shadow passing by. Noah's eyes scan the streets, but he is not truly seeing them. He is searching, though for what, he cannot say. He tries to remember what his purpose once was, but the answers seem far away, like distant echoes. The voice he heard earlier continues to reverberate in his mind. You are not alone. It comforts him and terrifies him at the same time. He wonders if he is being guided or lost deeper into a maze of his own making. The journey ahead feels endless, yet he cannot stop himself from walking forward. Noah stops at a small park, the sound of rustling leaves the only noise in the air. He sits on a bench, his body weary from the weight of his thoughts. The night feels colder here, the stars obscured by clouds. He begins to question himself, his choices, the very path that has brought him to this point. He wonders if he is simply chasing after something that doesn't exist. The memories of his past tug at him, a reminder of the person he once was, the one who had purpose, direction. But now he feels adrift, unsure of who he is anymore. The cold air feels like a reflection of the emptiness inside him. He wonders if he will ever feel truly whole again. A distant sound catches his attention, and he looks up. The silhouette of a person approaches, and Noah's breath catches. Could this be another sign, or is he simply searching for meaning in a world that no longer makes sense? The figure before him steps closer, and Noah's pulse quickens. It is a man, older than Noah, with a presence that commands attention. The stranger's gaze is steady, unwavering, and there is a calmness about him that Noah feels he needs, yet doesn't understand. The man speaks softly, his voice grounding Noah in a way he hadn't anticipated. You are seeking something, aren't you? The man asks. Noah doesn't answer immediately. The question stirs something deep within him, something he has been avoiding for a long time. His whole life he has been searching for answers, but nothing ever felt right. The man's eyes seem to pierce through him, seeing not just the man he is, but the man he could be. It's not about finding, the stranger continues, but understanding what is already within you. Noah's mind races, trying to make sense of this encounter. Is this a sign? Or just another fleeting moment that will soon be forgotten? But in the depths of his heart, he knows this conversation holds the key to something greater. The conversation continues, each word from the man hitting Noah like a revelation. Your past does not define you, Noah. It is the choices you make now that will shape your future. Noah listens, but his mind cannot fully grasp the magnitude of what he is hearing. He has always felt trapped by his past, by the mistakes and regrets that seem to follow him like a shadow. But the man's words offer him a new perspective, one that makes him question everything he thought he knew. The darkness that has weighed him down for so long feels lighter now, as though it could be shed, piece by piece. As the man finishes speaking, there is a long silence between them. Noah is left with his thoughts, feeling the weight of the decision ahead. Does he trust this guidance? Can he let go of the past to move forward? The answers are not clear, but for the first time in a long time, Noah feels a flicker of hope. Noah walks along a winding path through a dense forest, the weight of his thoughts heavier than the air around him. He tries to shake off the overwhelming feeling that he is being watched, but the sensation lingers, cold and unsettling. Each step feels like it takes him further from the life he knew, and yet closer to something he cannot fully comprehend. His thoughts are a whirlwind, regret, confusion, a longing for peace. The forest is quiet, almost too quiet, as if it too is holding its breath. His mind races, reliving the moments that led him to this point, but nothing seems to make sense. The voice that spoke to him, the figure he encountered, it all feels like a distant dream. Yet it is so vivid. He pauses at the edge of a clearing, his heart pounding in his chest. The weight of his inner conflict presses on him. He doesn't know where he's going, but he can't stop walking. The feeling of being lost, both physically and spiritually, is overwhelming. The forest around him seems to close in, a reflection of the darkness inside him. Noah stops by a small stream that cuts through the forest, its water flowing gently over the smooth rocks. The sound of the water is calming, a stark contrast to the storm of thoughts in his mind. He kneels by the stream, his fingers brushing the cool water. The sensation of the coldness brings him momentary clarity. For a brief moment, he feels as though he is truly present, not lost in his thoughts or his past. The water reflects the gray sky above, and Noah stares at his reflection, seeing a man he barely recognizes. The face staring back at him is older, wearier, burdened by the weight of unspoken regrets. The peace he feels by the stream is fleeting, and the sense of unrest returns. He can't escape the feeling that something is missing, something crucial that he has yet to find. The journey is far from over, and the answers he seeks remain elusive. He stands, looking out at the forest beyond, wondering if he'll ever find the peace he desperately craves. Noah continues walking, his feet heavy, his thoughts pulling him deeper into the forest. The shadows grow longer as the day fades, and the forest becomes darker, more oppressive. He is not sure what he is searching for anymore. The voices, the visions, they all seem like fragments of a puzzle he cannot solve. His doubts continue to swirl, gnawing at him. What if I'm not meant for this? He thinks to himself. The fear of failure creeps in, the fear that he will never find what he is looking for. The path ahead is unclear, and with each step, it feels like the weight of his past is growing heavier. His feet seem to move on their own, but his heart is still fighting, refusing to give up. The forest around him seems to mirror his inner turmoil, the darkness closing in, but he refuses to turn back. He knows he has to face whatever lies ahead, no matter how uncertain it feels. Noah reaches a clearing, the trees parting to reveal a small, tranquil pond. The surface of the pond is still, like a mirror reflecting the cloudy sky above. He approaches the water's edge, and for the first time in a long while, he feels a sense of calm. The quiet is comforting, as if the world has momentarily stopped spinning. He sits by the pond, his legs crossed, and gazes at the reflection in the water. He sees himself again, but this time it's different. The person looking back at him seems more at peace, less burdened. For a fleeting moment, Noah wonders if this is what he's been searching for all along. But as the wind picks up, disturbing the pond's surface, the moment passes. The stillness is broken, and Noah is left with the unsettling thought that peace is always just out of reach. His journey is not over, but for now, the pond offers him a moment of respite. As Noah stands up from the pond, the weight of his journey settles on him once more. The air feels colder, and the forest around him seems to be watching, waiting. The voice in his mind calls out again, faint but clear, "You are not lost." The words echo, resonating deep within him. Despite the doubts and fears that still haunt him, Noah feels something stir inside, a glimmer of hope. He's not sure what lies ahead, but he knows he can't turn back. He must continue, no matter how uncertain the road may seem. The wind picks up again, carrying with it the scent of the earth, a reminder that the world is still alive, still turning. With a final glance at the pond, Noah steps forward, ready to face whatever comes next. His journey is far from over, but for the first time in a long while, he feels like he is walking towards something, not away from it. Noah stands in the middle of an open field, the vast sky stretching out before him. The weight of the journey presses down on him, but there is a sense of clarity in the air, like he is finally seeing things for what they are. The voice, once distant, now feels closer, a quiet whisper in his mind. It says, "You've come far, but the hardest part is yet to come." He closes his eyes and takes a deep breath, letting the wind wash over him. The fields are empty, but in the stillness, Noah can almost hear the echo of his own thoughts, louder than the wind. He feels exposed here, as if the universe itself is watching him. The vastness of the space makes him feel small, insignificant, but also free. For the first time in a long time, Noah feels like he is standing on the edge of something new, something that might change everything. But there's still doubt lingering in the back of his mind, like a shadow he can't shake off. Noah walks slowly, his steps measured and deliberate. The uncertainty still weighs on him, but it is no longer paralyzing. He recalls the words of the figure he met earlier. It's not about finding, but understanding. The message sits heavily on his heart. What does it mean to understand? He looks around, as if searching for an answer in the world around him. The trees in the distance seem to stretch upward, and the wind picks up, rustling the leaves like a soft whisper. He wonders if he's been looking for the wrong thing all along. It's not answers that he needs, but understanding. But how can you understand something you can't even see? The thought weighs heavily on his mind, as the landscape shifts from open fields to a dense forest. The path ahead seems unclear, but Noah presses on, determined to find the clarity that eludes him. The deeper Noah walks into the forest, the more he feels the weight of his past pressing in on him. Memories once buried resurface like forgotten ghosts. He remembers a time when he believed in everything, before the doubts crept in. His mind flashes back to his younger self, full of ambition and hope. But now, the weight of his mistakes seems to fill the air around him. Am I running from my past, or am I just afraid to face it? He wonders aloud. The forest around him feels thick, almost suffocating, as if the trees are closing in on him. His thoughts race, and he begins to question everything, his choices, his path, the very foundation of his beliefs. The deeper he walks, the more the shadows seem to grow. It's as if the forest is reflecting his internal turmoil, a place where answers are hidden behind layers of doubt. Noah stops in the middle of the forest, his chest tight with emotion. He feels a sudden shift, as if the very air around him is thick with presence. The voice returns, this time clear and commanding. "You are not your past." The words reverberate within him, shaking the very core of his being. The trees around him seem to tremble with the power of the voice. It is not a whisper now, but a truth, spoken with such clarity that Noah cannot deny it. He drops to his knees, overwhelmed by the force of the message. He is not his past, not the mistakes he's made, or the regrets he carries. The realization crashes over him like a wave, both terrifying and liberating. He sits on the forest floor, letting the words sink in. His entire being feels light, as if a weight has been lifted from his shoulders. The clarity he sought is finally within reach, but now he must confront the challenge of embracing it. Noah rises slowly, the weight of the revelation still heavy on his heart. The forest, once oppressive, now feels different, almost welcoming. He takes a deep breath, inhaling the fresh air as if he's breathing for the first time. The voice speaks again, softer now, but just as clear. You are free to choose. Noah's heart swells with emotion. The freedom that was once so distant is now within reach. He looks ahead, where the path splits into two directions. One path leads deeper into the forest, dark and unknown. The other leads toward a clearing, bathed in light. He knows now that he has a choice. He can continue running or embrace the light. With newfound determination, he steps toward the clearing, leaving the darkness behind. The journey ahead is uncertain, but Noah now feels ready to face whatever comes next. Noah stands at the edge of a vast, dark abyss, the ground beneath him cracked and uneven. The sky above is filled with swirling storm clouds, a visual representation of the turmoil inside him. His heart races as the weight of his fear threatens to overtake him. What if I fail? He thinks, the question echoing in his mind. His eyes scan the abyss, the dark void stretching endlessly before him. It feels like the world is holding its breath, waiting for him to make a decision. He knows what lies ahead, an uncertain path filled with challenges and obstacles, but he can't turn back. The voice that has guided him through his journey speaks again. Calm and steady, you are stronger than you think. The words bring a sense of peace, but the fear still lingers. Noah's hands tremble as he takes a step forward, the abyss calling to him. But he knows he cannot stay where he is. The only way forward is through it, and he must face his fear head-on. Noah steps forward, each movement deliberate as he begins his descent into the darkness. The sound of his footsteps echoes in the vast emptiness, a reminder of how alone he feels. His mind is filled with doubt, but his body moves on its own, driven by an unseen force. The storm above rages, and the wind howls through the desolate landscape, adding to the overwhelming sense of isolation. What if I can't do this? Noah wonders, but a part of him already knows the answer. He has come too far to turn back now. The path ahead is uncertain, shrouded in darkness, but the journey is his alone to take. He moves further into the abyss, each step heavier than the last, but also more resolute. With every step, he feels the weight of his past and future intertwining, the burden of his decisions pressing down on him. But he pushes forward, determined to face what lies ahead, no matter the cost. The deeper Noah ventures into the abyss, the more the darkness seems to consume him. The wind picks up, howling in his ears, and he can no longer tell if the sounds are real or imagined. His thoughts spiral, questioning every decision he's made. But as the storm rages around him, he hears a voice again, this time from within himself. You have always been enough. The words feel like a lifeline, pulling him back from the edge of his despair. He pauses, closing his eyes, taking in a shaky breath. For the first time, he feels the weight of his journey, but also the power of his resilience. The path ahead is still unclear, but there is a shift inside him. The darkness no longer feels like an enemy, but a challenge to be faced, something that will forge him into the person he is meant to become. He opens his eyes, the storm still raging, but he is no longer afraid to face it. Noah reaches the edge of the abyss, standing at the precipice, looking down into the infinite darkness below. The storm rages, but there is a calmness within him now, a sense of clarity. The voice in his mind speaks once more, but this time it is not a question or a command. You are ready. Noah takes a deep breath, feeling the weight of everything he's learned, everything he's overcome, and all the choices he's made. He knows now that this moment, this decision, will define the rest of his journey. He looks ahead, not at the abyss, but at the path that awaits him beyond. The darkness was never the enemy, it was merely a part of his journey. With renewed resolve, he steps forward, his foot landing firmly on the ground. The storm continues, but Noah is no longer afraid. The unknown no longer holds power over him. The future is his to shape. Noah walks away from the abyss, each step firm and purposeful. The storm slowly begins to subside, the winds dying down as the clouds part to reveal a sky full of stars. For the first time, Noah feels truly at peace. The journey hasn't been easy, but it has transformed him in ways he never imagined. As he looks up at the stars, he realizes that the darkness was never something to fear, but something that helped him find his own strength. I am not defined by my past, Noah whispers to himself, the weight of the words settling in. The path ahead is still uncertain, but Noah knows now that he can face whatever comes. The stars above are a reminder that even in the darkest times, there is always light. With a final glance at the night sky, Noah continues walking, ready for whatever lies ahead, unafraid and resolute. Noah stands on the edge of a cliff, looking out over a vast stormy sea. The wind whips through his hair, and the rain hits his face like needles. For the first time in his journey, he feels the full weight of what he's about to face. The darkness of the ocean stretches endlessly before him, and he knows that the hardest test is yet to come. His heart pounds in his chest, not with fear, but with a deep understanding of what must be done. The journey has led him here, and though the path ahead is uncertain, he knows he cannot turn back now. I am ready, he whispers to himself, the words carrying in the wind. The storm rages around him, but within there is a calm acceptance. This is the moment where everything will change. He closes his eyes for a brief moment, taking in a deep breath, feeling the rain soak him through. Whatever happens next, he is prepared to face it. Noah takes a step forward, feeling the ground beneath him shift with each movement. The wind howls in his ears, and the roar of the ocean fills his senses. He knows that the storm outside is nothing compared to the storm inside. The fear that has always followed him, the doubt that has haunted his every step, begins to rise again. What if this is it? What if I can't handle it? The question spirals in his mind, but he shakes his head, trying to banish the thought. He has faced too many challenges to turn back now. The abyss below calls to him, a reminder of the danger, but also of the transformation that awaits. Each step forward feels like a choice, a commitment to his journey, no matter the outcome. The voice inside his mind grows louder, guiding him with words that echo in the crashing waves. You have come this far for a reason. Noah stands at the cliff's edge, the storm now at its peak. Lightning strikes in the distance, illuminating the dark sky for a brief moment. The wind howls around him, pushing against him with the force of 100 storms. Yet Noah doesn't move. I am not afraid, he says aloud, but even to his own ears, the words sound hollow. The fear still lingers, threatening to consume him. He looks down at the ocean below, the waves crashing relentlessly, a mirror of his emotions. But I will face it, he whispers, more to himself than anyone else. The storm rages on, but Noah stands firm, every part of him screaming to run, but his feet remain rooted to the earth. He has come this far, and he will not let fear turn him away now. The storm is not his enemy, it is a test, and he is ready to face it head on. The storm begins to subside, the winds dying down, and the rain slowing to a drizzle. Noah breathes a sigh of relief, but the silence that follows feels heavier than the storm itself. It is as if the world is holding its breath, waiting for him to make the final decision. The sea before him is calmer now, the waves lapping gently against the rocks. Noah looks out over the ocean, his heart still racing from the storm. He has faced his fears and endured the chaos. But the real challenge, he knows, is not in the storm. It is in himself. Can he accept the changes that are coming? Can he embrace the unknown? He takes a deep breath, and for the first time, he feels a sense of peace. The storm has passed, but the journey is not over. The path ahead is still uncertain, but he is no longer afraid. Noah steps away from the cliff's edge, his movements slow and deliberate. As he walks away, the sky above him begins to clear completely, and the first rays of sunlight break through the clouds. He feels lighter, as though a weight has been lifted from his shoulders. I've let go, he whispers to himself. The fear that once controlled him is gone, replaced by a quiet sense of peace. He looks out over the ocean one last time, the sunlight reflecting off the calm water. The journey has been long and difficult, but he knows that he is ready for whatever comes next. The future is no longer something to fear. It is something to embrace. With a final glance at the ocean, Noah turns and walks forward, ready to continue his path with newfound strength and clarity. Noah stands in the heart of the quiet town, the same one he left behind so many months ago. Everything looks unchanged, but he feels different, like someone reborn. The weight he once carried has lifted, and there's a quiet peace in his chest. As he walks through the streets, he notices the details he once overlooked. The sound of children laughing, the smell of fresh bread from the bakery, the simple beauty of everyday life. The town feels alive, full of stories, but he now sees it with new eyes. "I never realized how much I was missing," he whispers to himself. His steps are steady, his heart no longer burdened by uncertainty. He no longer feels like a stranger here. Instead, this town is a part of him, just as he is now a part of it. There is no more searching, no more running. The path he once feared is now a path he has walked with grace. As Noah continues through the town, he stops by the old cafe, the one he used to visit every morning. He hesitates for a moment, memories flooding his mind. He had walked past it so many times, never stopping, always rushing. But today, something is different. He enters the cafe, the bell above the door ringing softly as he pushes it open. The familiar scent of coffee and pastries fills the air. He finds a seat by the window, looking out at the street. The world outside is moving, but he is content to be still. For the first time in a long time, he feels at home, not because of the place, but because he has found peace within himself. The past is no longer a weight he drags behind him. Today, Noah simply exists. And that is enough. After his coffee, Noah steps outside, the sun now low on the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. He pauses for a moment, taking it all in. The familiar sounds, the sights, the life around him. For the first time, he feels like he's truly part of it. The isolation that once gripped him is gone, replaced by a profound sense of connection. "I've been searching for so long," he thinks. "And now, I realize I was never really lost." As he walks down the street, he feels the weight of his journey behind him, but no longer as a burden. It's a part of him, just like the town, just like the people. He knows there is still more to come, but for now, he is content. The world is his to explore, but it's no longer the search that drives him, it's the journey itself. Noah reaches a small park at the edge of town, the same park where he once sat and felt the weight of his loneliness. Today, the park feels different, full of life, full of possibility. He finds a bench and sits down, letting the world continue around him. The laughter of children echoes in the distance, and he watches as a couple walks by, hand in hand. There is a lightness in the air, as though the entire world is moving forward, and Noah is right where he needs to be. The past, with all its pain, is behind him now. What matters is the present, the life he is living in this moment. "I've learned to let go," he thinks, a smile tugging at the corner of his lips. The journey has led him here, and he is finally at peace with where he is. As Noah stands to leave the park, he takes one last look at the horizon. The sun has set, and the sky is now filled with stars. The world is quiet, and for the first time, Noah feels completely at peace with it. "This is just the beginning," he says softly to himself. The journey is far from over, but he is no longer afraid. He knows that whatever comes next, he will face it with strength and clarity. The road ahead is open to him, full of possibility, but for the first time, he is no longer searching for answers. He has found what he was looking for. It was never about the destination. It was about the journey. With that thought in mind, Noah begins walking forward, ready for whatever comes next.